got in an argument with someone about the wage gap. And they really believe that men and women work right next to each other doing the same job, and the woman is only making 75 cents to the guy's dollar. I'm like,
that's what's been put out there enough times.
But this is a crazy thing to argue. Like, if you're going to argue that, if you're going to argue, you should know what that is. You should know what that is. Otherwise, you're just talking shit, which we all do sometimes. But you got to be willing to
Same
say,
as climate change. It's
I
believe in this, I believe in that. It's like, well, which studies have you read? And it's almost always, zero studies.
Zero.
I like to believe this versus whatever. Luckily, we're not in charge of making decisions.
People love to put these studies out, like to tweet them out without having even looked at them at all.
Yeah.
Some of these are there's studies out there that prove you everything.
With wage gap. He's like, so you're telling me I can get the same, I'm a smart businessman who's made a bunch of money, and I can get the same level of talent out of this woman.
Or better.
Well, let's just say equal, but 75% or better. Sorry, ma'am. Sorry. Or equal or probably better for 75 cents on the dollar. And I'm a smart businessman, and I'm not going to go with the lower cost equal talent or better talent. That's how can I run a successful business making that kind of decision?
How can you?
Yeah, it would they would be hired at far higher rates. Yep. Or you can look deeper at it and be like, oh, it's just like total jobs or whatever it is. Again, I haven't read any of the studies, but I just listen to people who have.
I think you're right. I think there's something to that. If they really could hire the same people for the same job,
for sure get that,
and get a woman who's just as good at it for 75 cents, it's horseshit, though.
They would hire only women.
The people who don't know what we're talking about, it's all based on what jobs you choose. It's like, it's not, the men don't make more money because they do the same job and make more money at that job than the woman does. They do different jobs. That's where the wage gap is. The wage gap is in the number of hours that men work, the different jobs that they choose, what they excel in. It has nothing to do with like two people that are both, in the same line on an assembly line or something like that with the same amount of time in, and they both make the same amount of money.
Yeah.
And rather, the male makes a dollar for every 75 cents. That's not how the wage gap works. It's just different jobs.
Okay, so hearing that information, like I remember when I first heard it, it was like, you can either go, fuck you, you're just trying to fucking shit on women, or you can go, well, I've never thought of that. Let me look into that a little bit, and then I'll get back to you. Instead of immediately reacting, fuck off.
Well, people get mad, like, that's not what it is. Like, yes, it is what it is. Like, you're foolish if you keep arguing with me, because you don't even know what it is. This is a dumb conversation now. I can't argue with you when I know that you haven't read any of the stuff that points to these numbers. Like, look, the thing is, no one should be, like, whatever you do, whatever it is, whether it is you make incredible sculptures or you build cars or you're a painter, whatever the fuck it is that you do, no one should be able to say that you doing this definitely should make as much money as doing that. No, things are worth what they're worth.
Oh, yeah, exactly. We remember Tommy DeLute's bowler?
Yeah.
Yeah, at some point he was ranked, I think, top 15 in the world at his sport, which is the equivalent of like, I'm trying to even think who would be, like Carmelo Anthony, let's say.
Right.
And this guy, Tommy DeLute's, at his sport, made 38 grand and Carmelo makes, 20 million.
Yeah.
Sorry, your sport's not as popular.
It's just not as popular.
Your weight class isn't as popular.
That's
Whatever
just how it works. Yeah, that's just how it works.
Your job is not fucking sought after.
Yeah. I could see how you would want more money.
Yeah, sure. Everybody does.
I get that. But like, there's certain people that it's harder to do that job, and the reason why they do it is because they know that it's more valuable. So they work harder and they get that job.